Hey there, Stitchers. Debbie Hodge from StitchStories.com with a design for the season. A design for the season of hearts. And in fact, I've got my hearts on, hearts everywhere. And this is Choose Love. It's available in the shop as a full kit or as a pattern. And I wanted to talk to you, give you some tips about stitching it. This is perfect for Valentine's Day, for giving, for decorating, or it's also great as we move into wedding season. Be a really nice gift for lovebirds. And with all of our kits, it comes with the 4-page stitching guide, the full 10.5-inch fabric. So here's the stitching guide. It's got your diagram and some specific how-tos and all the stitches on the back. You get the 8-inch hoop, bamboo, and the tin with all the supplies. We've got the pattern on 10.5-inch fabric and a needle minder, needles, whoops, sorry, did that wrong. The needles and 6 skeins of floss. We've got 3 colors of red, 2 blues, and a green. So yeah, here's the pattern. And yeah, you'll hoop it up and get stitching with it. And you're working with a design that starts with a mandala, but then instead of having the mandala centered, I've bumped it up here and run some extra ones off the other side, so it's a fun variation on the mandala. And then I could layer this blue dove over top of it with the olive branch and the Choose Love message down here at the bottom. So this is really fun to stitch. We've got these first big hearts that repeat, and the outer heart is stitched with the darker red and use the outline stitch for that. And then next in here we've got a scalloped heart, which really reminds me of old-timey Valentine's. So does this heart in the middle too. And at first I tried using the fly stitch for the scallops, but I found that I really liked it much better when I used the split stitch. So the whole thing, that whole heart is outlined with the chain stitch, and then the scallops are done with split stitch. It's so fun to have all these different stitches to play with. Then you've got the next heart in here. I think that floss is carnation or light carnation, and that one's got a little bow on it. The whole thing is outlined with the split stitch, and then these bursts use the straight stitch with little X's at the top, some French knots, some lazy daisies for those 4-petaled flowers. Then right below it, one more heart, and that's filled with really long lazy daisies. So it's outlined. I think I used the split stitch there with dark carnation. All of it's in the guide. I tell you which stitches I use, and of course you can always use the stitches that you want. Now then we've also got these repeating hearts, and there's actually, I love these grid hearts, and there's a bunch of them. First, let's talk about the satin stitch hearts. Used 2 different shades of red for it. Satin stitch it first, then outline it with the back stitch. Then for these grids, I like it best with the dark floss on the bottom and the light floss over top, because then it gives a drop shadowed kind of feeling. So you're going to stitch all of the dark stitches, all of the dark grid lines in one direction first, then all of the dark grid lines in the other direction. Then you're going to put the light colored ones one direction, then the other direction. Now here's the thing, use the back stitch and go from intersection to intersection. See how there's intersections on every bit of the grid? Don't cross over them. Don't try and use longer stitches, because then you're not going to get the same tidy effect, and also you're going to end up splitting some of your stitches because you won't be so regular about where you go in and out with it. I loved stitching them, so much fun. And then after I finished stitching the grid, I outlined that with a light colored back stitch. Of course, all that is in the guide. Once you get all those hearts stitched, there's also this fun bird, and this is in 2 bright blues. I use those blues, I think, in the cuckoo clock kit for the bird and part of the cuckoo clock. They're just really fun and vibrant. And the bird is outlined with the outline stitch, so nice and heavy in the dark blue. But then for these stitches in here, use the back stitch, because look what great texture that gives to have the broken line inside of there. These wings are done with the chain stitch. And then we've got these leafy branches on the wings with lazy daisy and back stitch. Got satin stitch down here in the belly, satin stitch for the cheeks, split stitch for the beak. I think I used back stitch for the little eyes. And then we've got the nice branch. You can use the leaf stitch there. Look how many stitches you get to use. And then finally for Choose Love, I tried it with the chain stitch, but it looks much better with the split stitch. So this is Choose Love. Just a really super fun design to stitch, really enjoyable, and a great display piece for Valentine's Day, a great gift for anybody in love. And then you'll notice it's on 10.5-inch fabric like all of our designs. And I decided to frame that one with a smaller hoop. Whoops, I'm out of focus. Let me see if I can get back in focus. In focus, come on. All right, there we go. So notice I've got the 8-inch hoops and the 7-inch hoops in the shop. I framed it with the 7-inch hoop because it brought it in much tighter. If I had framed it in an 8-inch hoop, there'd be almost an inch border around it. And for me, I just liked this look in the tighter hoop. So find it at stitchstories.com and then go to kits or to fabric patterns and stitch a little love. There we go. Bye now.